talk a little bit about the land acquisition. I mean, it's an important part of building a custom home. To me, you start thinking location, 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 which is, of course, the real estate mantra. Well, it doesn't matter. You could drop a house anywhere, but it better be on the right spot.
Right, and just as Brooks was saying, I mean, there's a balance between, building a custom home. It means, you're building a house that you design. You're choosing everything. You're choosing what you want it to look like, how it sits, and what direction it faces. But the fact is we live in a different market than a lot of places around the country, where there is a lack of inventory for land here. We have a lot of infill in the Seattle area, and you get out different areas of King County further away from Seattle. There's more opportunities to find the exact lot that meets your needs. But especially when you're in the city, there's got to be an open-mindedness to be ready to make some adjustments to that perfect floor plan you have in mind. So when we have clients come in, it goes back to that wants, wishes, and help me out here, Brooks. Needs, wants, and wishes. I got to write that down.
Good idea.
Yeah. So, if you absolutely need to have a 50-foot wide house, and a detached garage around the side, then that's going to rule out a lot of these in-city lots, because there's just not a lot of lots that wide. So, if they want to live in Seattle metro area, then that's going to be the first priority, is finding a lot that is reasonably priced and the best value for the money, and maybe not so much the exact style of house in that case. So.
And so when you start going through that, I mean, how does somebody decide what location they really want, though? I mean, there's so many different pieces of that puzzle.
Well, what we're really seeing is the opportunity, or what I've been seeing, and what we've been working a lot with Brooks and Powell Homes on, is that there are builders that are just getting back into the game right now. There's not as many homes being built, especially in the Seattle area, and there's definitely less inventory in that medium income range, that upper to middle class range, where most of the the new home buyers, potential buyers, are living at. So what we're looking at is an opportunity to try to create our own inventory and create opportunity in the gap between the existing clients that we have or that Powell has and the lack of inventory. So historically, I mean, my thought's always been, okay, if you want to build a custom house, you're talking that higher end range. I mean, you're spending $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 to really get what you want. You're going to be more on the east side. You're going to, there's all these presumptions of what a custom home represents. And speaking from my own experience, I just purchased a lot and built a custom home that we just moved in, and I'm definitely not on that higher end range. And the process was not that grueling, and I think what we're seeing is we can go in and create opportunities that's beneficial for all parties involved, the brokers, the builders, and of course the buyers, to where there's really not that much more effort that goes into it for the buyer building a custom home as opposed to buying a new construction home. So that's kind of the opportunities that we're looking at.
So how do you go about finding the right lot?
Well, it's determining the location. If the location is the first priority, that's the easiest place for us to start.
Versus looking at the entire globe.
Well, yeah. I mean,
at some point,
I think it's easier to nail down location than anything else, because people want to be close to their families, or they want to be away from their families, either way, or they want to be close to work. They don't want to commute too far. They have a attachment to a certain area, whatever. We help narrow it down, and basically it's no secret. I mean, guys used to do this back in the day, and it just hasn't been that common in the last couple of years or the last decade or so, and it's now just starting to make a comeback. As we just get information off the title company in terms of dimensions of the lot, the utilities, tax assessed value, certain neighborhood, and we just send out a lot of mailers every month, and we'll do that for builders like Powell, a number of other builders. And if we get custom clients, we'll scale that down because usually the area is in a lot smaller of a radius. So we'll scale that mailing back, but we'll usually do the same process and maybe just a little bit of a different way to really get a better opportunity for them.
And so when you're going through the location and the process, I mean, you can look online. I mean, what about what if somebody's driving around a neighborhood on their own and they see maybe an older house?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, man, I would like to build there. I mean, how would you go about getting that specific house?
Well, I mean, anyone can do it. I mean, that's public information. But if we have a client that says, "Hey, we like this house, we want to do it," I mean, it's as simple as sending a letter or knocking on the door. Either they're going to be ready to sell it or not sell it. If there's an old house in a transitional neighborhood, chances are it's an old person that's getting ready to kick the bucket, or it's a house that's been in the family for a lot of years and it's been held as a rental. There's some story behind it if it's a really nice neighborhood in a crappy, broke down house. So
yeah.
Either they're going to be ready to sell or they're not, And usually if the price is right, something's ready to sell.
The meth lab downstairs and the whole nine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Probably, maybe not. It's tough to say.
Yeah.
Kalen Peters joins us, owner and manager of Kingston Realty. Kalen, so you say it's not necessary maybe to have an agent to build a lot, but there must be some pluses and negatives, or to find the lot.
Yeah, you guys touched on that a little bit ago. It's just like anything else. I mean, we do this every single day, and there's so much competition because there's not a lot of land out there, and there are a lot of buyers getting back into the game. I send out between 500 and 3,000 pieces of mail a month, plus I'm checking the MLS every day, and every bit of those are getting sent off to our builders and our custom home building clients. So if you think that you're going to go around and maybe you find a couple lots you like and you can knock on those doors or send a mailer, but just thinking that you're going to try to go into that kind of environment without the experience and the know-how and think that you're going to fare well, and undoubtedly you probably find a lot, but the chances are pretty likely you're gonna overpay. You're gonna get into a situation where you're gonna encounter mitigation issues, where you're gonna have a lot more out-of-pocket expenses that you have ever anticipated, and you're either gonna be in a situation where you're holding on to that thing for 3 to 5 years before you're ready to build on it because you're in so deep, or you're just gonna have to sell it or short sell it. We got a lot down by Angle Lake in this little subdivision. The poor guy bought it for $350,000 back in 2006. Angle Lake, SeaTac. I mean, there's just situations like that all over the place, and you really need a good brokerage, good agent in your corner that really is understanding. And it's not so much catering a program specifically for you, but it's fitting you into a process that's already there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I believe what the key is. So
I mean, finding a process and understanding that process, going through a process that's already built, seems to be the only way that people can actually get good service. And if you work with somebody who doesn't have any type of process, then they're probably putzing around trying to figure out the best process themselves, and you end up not maybe going from point A to B to C, but you end up meandering all over the place.
Right. Yeah, and what are you going to do if you make that decision that, hey, we've been here in Seattle area for a while, getting a promotion, kids are, getting ready to go off to college. We're ready to kind of get that nice house that our kids aren't going to beat to hell,
Mm-hmm.
And where are you going to start? I mean, not everybody knows a whole lot of builders. You're going to check the phone book or Google, just like builders, or, I mean, what are you going to do? So I think
probably not the phone book.
Yeah. Wow.
Is there even a phone book anymore? I think they stopped doing it, didn't they?
You could opt out.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. No, but we work a lot in the Southwest area. We tie up a number of lots for Powell Homes, and I mean, you don't even need to have an approval letter, with these guys. So you're approaching these people that may or may not be ready to sell off of the mailer pieces that we've done, and we send letters. I mean, just the fact that they've been around for 104 years, that they've weathered not just this latest storm, but much greater economic situations that we've just encountered. I mean, that builds a lot of trust just by name recognition alone.
Sure.
And so, that, and then having, they're very process driven, we're very process driven. So, I mean, you get, whether it's us or another situation, you just got to be sure that it is very process driven. They're kind of making the decisions as easy as possible for you, because otherwise, even if you get a decent real estate agent and a decent builder, if they're not process driven, if they're not doing the kind of volume where they can afford to be process driven, you could still be lost with, having to, make all these decisions with the design, because you think the design process is going to be fun, for example, but then you go in and you say, okay, what kind of floors should I get? And they say, well, it's kind of up to you. And then so you're stuck in this floor place saying, okay, am I going to go, this many dollars per foot, or am I going to upgrade? And then you got 30 choices to make. It's crazy, and a good situation with like Powell is they got the showroom, they got design center. So they'll come down, they say, hey, here's 5 choices, pick one. That's a lot easier decision to make than meandering around, Florco and Tukwila somewhere and just bouncing like bar hop into all these different little shops down there. It's crazy.
I like bar hopping, but floor hopping.
Floor hopping.
Floor shopping hopping does not sound exactly like my cup of tea.